What's good? This is Elton Anderson Jr., aka Detroit Chopra, and on today's episode, we're going to step into the dark side. Yes, we're going to talk about how the darkness, the shadows in your life are directly related to the journey of self-love. And I want to really go backwards a little bit into the last 3 or 4 months of my life to where I kind of basically disappeared. I was not making YouTube videos, not creating podcasts, not really engaging much on social media. And honestly, I was in a dark, very, very dark place. I'm talking daylight savings time dark. You know how it'd be dark at like 4 p.m. at daylight savings time. That's how dark it was for me. And the reason for that was I didn't find out till like just recently. And the reason for that was because I still had a shadow that I had never healed. And if you haven't heard about shadow work, it's the shadow is a concept that was popularized and pretty much created by a doctor named Carl Jung. And we talk about the shadow, and it's really directly related to your childhood, your inner child. So the things that you didn't heal, the traumas that you have from a very young age, they're literally grow up with you if you don't heal them. So a lot of times we're all just grown kids masquerading as adults. That's what's happening. We're literally children that have never healed. So a lot of times when people walk around with their inner children, they are really holding on to the scars of that inner child. So you've seen people that it manifests in ways of violence, of anger, of addiction. And for me, it it came out because my inner child, my shadow, my darkness was that I wanted everybody to like me. That was it. I was a crack fiend for validation. I had no boundaries because I thought that my self-worth was only in what other people thought of me. And not just people close to me, just anybody. Like I wanted people to validate me at every step of the way. And so I would feed into that. And I can tell you one thing, when you try to please everybody, when you want everybody to like you, that is the opposite of authenticity. That puts you actually in a very low vibration because what you're doing is you're feeding everybody else and you're giving from your cup and you're not filling up your own cup. So I lived my basically entire life of pouring from a cup. And what happened was, what the thing that would constantly happen with me and the people that was close to me, they would feel as if I was being fake, because there's no way that Elton always has a new friend and, oh, you got to meet this person, they're so great. And don't get me wrong, these people are great. Like a lot of people that I met and attracted and called into my life, I know that I was called into their life as well. And for me, there's nothing wrong with having a ton of friends or a really big network that's filled with love or tribe. We're meant to be tribal beings. So there's nothing wrong with that. But it was the place where I personally was coming from. And I told the story in other episodes, and I kind of bring it up from time to time, that my 4 closest friends, who I call my best friends, we're all no longer friends right now. And that situation killed me in a way that needed to happen. I talked about being and having and dealing with malaria back in 2019, and I was on my deathbed. And I remember that I was in a bad place with my friends. I had just decided that I was going to leave the country and move away and not be a photographer anymore. So ultimately, I was dying. I was letting go and killing off a lot of the identity that I had. And I remember laying on that bed. I was in a hospital in Brazil for like 5 days, and my mother was right there next to me. And I remember laying on that bed, and I said, I can't die as this Elton. The only reason I fought for my life, not the only reason, but I said, I can't die as this Elton, but this Elton needs to die. And looking back, I needed that moment. I needed to be in that space. I needed that time to sit down and really look at myself and look at the ugliest parts of me. Look at a lot of time. Listen, you have to be willing and able to look at your darkness. You have to be able and willing, as tough as it is, to look at your shadows, because if you never look at them, they'll never heal. If you never look at them, how can you love them? And that's the only way you're going to get and complete the cycle of the journey, rather, to self-love. The only way you're going to get to self-love is you're going to have to go through the darkness. You can't go around it. You can't hop over it. You can't sweep the darkness under the rug. You're going to have to go through the darkness. So back to my darkness of always being a people pleaser. And what happened was that it separated me from the people that were close to me, because they said, Elton treats everybody special. So what makes me special? And I can empathize with how they felt, because again, it made me seem like I was just trying to seek the validation from everybody else, when I was ultimately damaging the close relationships that I had for people that actually knew me and that actually loved me regardless. Like, these people knew the good and the bad, and they loved me regardless. Whereas in the regular world, all I wanted to show was the good, which isn't the real, which isn't the authentic. I just wanted to show an idea, a persona of, oh, Elton is just good. And so it led to those relationships being ended. It led to me feeling so alone, but it led to me having to look at myself. And I want to tap into the darkness a little bit more, because I've been doing a lot of self-exploration during this time. And so one of the things that I started leaning into was astrology. I had never gone super deep into astrology. Like, I don't, about the 12th houses and the North Nodes and the Chiron and all this stuff. I'm like, okay, guys, I know I'm a Pisces. That's all I got for you. But random enough, yesterday, I decided that I was doing a little bit of research for another YouTube video idea I have coming up. And one of the videos I watched, they talked about the 12th house, and they said, if you have any of your chart of your planets in the 12th house, those are places that are considered deep, dark, subconscious areas. And I said, okay, let me look into this a little bit. And I looked at my chart, and I have 12 different planets, not 12, sorry. I have 4 different planets in my 12th house. And so I said, okay, this seems like a lot of dark, deep energy. So let's go look more. So one of the things that stood out the most was that my 12th house is in Scorpio. And Scorpio is also my rising sign or my ascendant. And if you don't know about rising signs, basically your rising sign is like what people think you are. It's what kind of energy that you present to the world. So I guess apparently because Scorpio is my rising, that people would assume or see me as a Scorpio. So I said, okay, so I want to look deeper into it. So the deeper I looked into it, my Scorpio is in Jupiter in the 12th house. So when people have Jupiter in their 12th house, it literally says people like this are usually led or called to be spiritual gurus. And also people with Jupiter in the 12th house, they become spiritual people and they let go of the need for material things. And I said, okay, that sounds real familiar. Like, at me next time, astrology. And so I kept going deeper, and then it talked about Scorpio. And so when Scorpio's in the 12th house, Scorpio is known as the detective. Like, Scorpio energies, all my Scorpios who are listening, you naturally have a detective, investigative energy within you. And if it's in your 12th house, then you really go deep into like the spiritual world, and you go deeper into like maybe even sometimes dark magic. I'm not there. That's not my thing. But it's just you can investigate it, but you also have the energy where it won't necessarily consume you. So whereas somebody else who would go into the deep in the dark side of themselves, they may get consumed. They may fall into anger. They may fall into addiction or drugs or whatever it is. And so I was happy to find out that I'm somebody who can like tiptoe, I can peek and go in, but I can always come out. And that's just kind of like what the gist of the information said. So I started thinking about how this plays out in my life, not only my life, but also the lives of everybody. And I kind of came up with this analogy for it because we oftentimes think that, again, the darkness is so bad, but the concept that I came up with, I said, well, maybe it's like a cave. Maybe our darkness, maybe our inner selves is like a cave, right? So imagine you're walking through this cave and you're scared, you're nervous. That's the fear. It's like, oh, I don't want to go too deep in here. It's scary. And then you get anxiety, you get a little bit of anxiousness because you're like, it's all kind of things could be in this cave. And the cave is literally an analogy for you, but you're scared to go deep within yourself. You're saying, okay, this is scary. And all you're doing is doing self-exploration. And a lot of people stop right at the mouth of the cave. Like they don't go in. They don't go in. They say, I want to be with the light. Dark is bad, light is good. But I want to make a case for darkness being probably the best thing and the most needed thing that is ever going to be in your life. So imagine you're going through this cave and you continue to go deeper and deeper into it. And you're feeling so scared. You're feeling so alone because you're going to be alone in this cave. And I know a lot of y'all don't do haunted houses, but follow me. But you're going through this cave and there's going to be things that may pop out. There's going to be things that may make noises, but you have to trust yourself. This is the thing. You have to trust yourself that through this cave, there's something waiting for you. And it's not the boogeyman, but what's through this cave, at least in my opinion, is that sometimes when you go deep into a cave, there's diamonds in there. You got to go through the cave to find the diamonds. There's treasure in there. We've all seen Indiana Jones, and you always know it's a good treasure in there. Maybe a little bit of drama getting to it, but the deeper you go into this cave is the treasure that you were always looking for or you didn't even know existed. And I think a lot of times people are so scared to go and find the treasure within them. And that treasure, to me, is the self-love. And so I know for me that I continue to investigate it myself. I continue to go deeper into the cave, go deeper into my subconscious, go deeper into my fears and the things I didn't like about myself, because I know that the things that I don't like the most about myself, the things that you hate about yourself, are the absolute things that you have to love the most. You have to love it. You can't love the fact that, oh, I got a new hairstyle. You can, but that's nothing. That hairstyle could be gone tomorrow. You can't fall in love with the fact that you got a new car, or you got a PhD. Don't fall in love with those things. Be proud of them, own them. You achieved them, but you have to, for everything that you want to show to the world and seek validation for, you have to remember that there's things in this cave that you have to get to. You have to love them. You have to discover them. And you have to know what these things are in order to heal, in order to break the patterns that are continuously happening into your life, because you're only attracting the things that you're hiding. You're only attracting the things that you're hiding because your subconscious mind, the universe, God, everything, every part of you knows that that is the thing that you need to heal. And so the more that you avoid it, the more that you can go years. I went 38 years avoiding it, running away from it, and the patterns kept coming up in my life. I kept hurting the people closest to me. I kept letting people down. I kept letting myself down. And I kept avoiding what was in that cave for so long. But I want to tell you a secret about the cave. The deeper you go into that cave, guess what? It has two ends to it. So the deeper you go into that cave, get your treasure, get your diamonds, get your gold rings, get your gold grills, whatever is in that cave for you. If you keep going through it, you got to keep going through the darkness. You can't just try to come back out the same side. You have to fully go through the darkness. And when you go through the darkness, I promise you, there is a more beautiful, brighter, and warmer light on the other side of that cave. And the task for you, the test for you is, are you going to go through that cave? Are you going to go through the darkness? Or are you going to continue to be afraid of the dark and never fully heal and never fully love every part of you? Because if your inner child is still in that cave, that inner child is terrified. All that trauma that's in that cave, it is eating you up. It's giving you depression. It's causing anxiety. It's coming up. It's showing up in your outer reality. And you don't want that. You don't want to carry that into 2022. I just made a video on my YouTube channel where I talked about the 5 different vibrations that you need to step into in order to have a more abundant 2022. And one of those lessons, you should definitely check it out. But one of those lessons was definitely the journey to authenticity. And you can't be authentic until you go fully through the cave. You have to go there, because not only is your inner child, your damaged child, your traumatized child waiting for you to save them, but there's also a reward there. There's also diamonds and so many things there waiting for you. So it wasn't until I went fully through the cave and realized that there's another side to it where the light is, that I am fully able to step into my own light. I'm fully able to step in front of this microphone and talk to you again. I'm fully aware, and aware is the word. I'm just going to stay with aware. I'm fully aware of what I'm meant to do. And one of the tools I used to achieve that was human design. I talk about human design. I told you I'm going to weave these human design lessons into every one of my episodes. So y'all going to get sick of it, but it's here to help you, because human design shows you exactly how your energy interacts with the world and how your energy is meant to interact with the world. So for instance, I am a generator, and generators, if you're listening, generators make up about 70% of the population. So if you have some free time today, definitely check out like my human design or genetic matrix and try to find what your human design is. And it's good to know your birth date, your birth time. You need to know all that stuff. And when I found out that I'm a generator, generators are the life force of the world. We are the people that are meant here to work. Generators, majority of the population is put on this earth to work, but you have to do the correct work. And the correct work comes when you are operating in your authentic self. I knew when I graduated from Florida A&M University that I was not meant to work in corporate America for the rest of my life. And that's what happens. We're programmed, we're told what to do, and we're told everything except to listen to ourselves, to listen to our intuition. And so the more that you don't know yourself and the more that you're so scared to go into the cave, is the further you're distancing you from your own self. And you got to close the gap. We cannot continue to have that distance between you and yourself, because what lives in that distance is anxiety, depression, and escapism and addictions. The more you are further from yourself, the more that you are in a lower vibration and the more resistance that you're creating. So with that said, I just wanted to tap in really quick and want to give you a different perspective on the journey into the darkness. And I want to encourage you all over these next few weeks as we lead into 2022 is to take a deeper step into your own cave. Take a deeper step into what's in there, because what's a reflection of your reality, what's happening around you, is showing you what's in that cave. And you're just scared to look into it. And I'm here to help. I'm doing human design readings as well. So if you want to tap in and want to learn a little bit more about what human design is and how to read your body graph, because a lot of people look at human design body graphs and like, what is this foolishness? But I've been doing the research, I've been doing the studying, and I'm actually in training to become a human design reader and an expert. And I need some practice, y'all. So if you're feeling like you want to take a deeper look into your cave, and I feel like human design, if you're going into your cave, human design is almost like a torch. It gives you a little light to see what's in there. You still got to go deep, but it gives you a little light to get through it and not be as scared. So if you want to sign up or reach out to me for a meeting, definitely hit me up at elton@eltonanderson.com, and we can see what's up in that cave maybe. But that's all. I just wanted to give you guys a little message, and I wanted to help you all find that journey to self-love a little easier. So I'll catch you on the next episode, and thank you so much for listening. Love you guys. Bye.